Hey, thanks for tuning in. On today's video, I'm going to talk about gating, and I'm going to try to explain it to you in under 5 minutes. What is a gate, you might ask? A gate is sort of like a gate on a fence, which controls when things can enter the yard, or in your case of audio, when your sound is going to come through. So gates are best used on drums when you want to control what is coming through. So here's my drums to start off. All it is one mic on kick, and then I have two overheads, which I'm using to pick up the clicks on the rims. So that sounds good, but on the kick, we have those rim clicks coming through as well. Hear them in the background there? So a gate would be handy in this instance where we want to actually pull out those rim clicks and only hear the kick drum. So on a gate, the two main controls are the threshold and reduction. So the threshold is essentially what volume the source has to hit for the gate to open. And right now at -50, you can see down here, that's -50. So anything above -50 is going to open the gate. And that's really low. So we're going to pull this up. Without the gate, our kick is hitting around 15 decibels. So it's safe to say that anywhere between like 18 and 20 is going to open our gate. So now it's only opening when the kick exceeds -18 decibels. Now the reduction amount, that is how much the gate turns down the source when the gate is not open. So essentially, when the gate's open, it's full in, full volume. When the gate's closed, it's turning down the audio by 100 decibels, which is a ton. So if you listen here, maybe by -6 decibels, you're actually going to you'll still hear the clicks in the background. And as we pull this reduction down, it is going to turn down the audio more when the gate is closed. Now, the way I use gates, I want it basically completely gone when the gate is closed, so I'll probably do something like -40 or 50. Great, so now we have it opening when we want to. The problem now is that our kick drum sounds really unnatural because it's so short, when the original had a nice tail. So that's where these hold and release controls come in. You can actually say, hey, when the gate's open, don't close for 40 milliseconds. And then after this amount of time, you can begin releasing and closing the gate. Hear that? So every time the gate opens, even when the sound goes down below the threshold, it still needs to stay open for this amount of hold time. So that's a good way to start shaping the tail. The most helpful thing in my opinion though, is this release control. After the sound goes back below the threshold and you've done your hold time, this is how long it takes to go back down to this reduction amount. So in other words, as you pull this up, you're going to get a longer tail, a longer release on your drum. So now we have the full sound of the drum, but we're starting to get that rim back in there. So I'm going to mess with the hold and release until we get it sounding exactly how I want. I'm going to pull the reduction back a little bit too. Sometimes what I'll do too is mess with the threshold. Because of the way the audio passes the threshold, if it's a little lower, you're going to end up having your gate open a little bit longer, and sometimes that'll get you a better sound. The attack control, I find it's usually best to leave on a fast setting, but what it is essentially when the audio passes the threshold, how quickly does the gate open? And for things like drums, I want it to open very quickly because boom, once the drum is hit, I need the gate to open. I need to hear that sound. So I leave that right where it is at 3 milliseconds. However, the look ahead control does exactly what it says, and it will look ahead of your transient here and actually be a little more responsive to opening on time. So I'm going to add a little bit of that in and see if it helps make the sound more natural. So that's about it for gates. Here I'll bypass it and engage it so you can hear the difference. Here's width. And once you add back in your overheads and all the other detail, you'll get a full picture of how it should sound. So there you go, there's a quick tutorial on gating. Please let me know in the comments if that was helpful to you or if I could go into more detail on a later date. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe so other people can find this video and learn from it as well. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.